Welcome to another episode of Newcomers on Fire. I am Miguel Abascal and I love connecting with our incredible community of newcomers and helping you navigate the journey in your new country. Before we dive into today's discussion, I have a quick request. If you have been enjoying our show and finding value in the stories and advice we share, please consider supporting the show by leaving us a review. Your feedback means the world to us and it helps us better serve you. So drop us a review and let us know what you love the most about this episode. Doing this also helps other newcomers discover our podcast, making it a valuable resource for more people on their journey to making their dreams a reality. Thank you for being part of our community and for your continued support. Our guest today is the remarkable Ruth Javier, and you are in for a treat because in this episode you are going to learn about the secret of improving your communication skills, even if English isn't your first language. How to find the strength and courage to chase for your dreams, no matter where you're coming from, the power of networking and volunteering building your new life, why embracing your unique accent can be a superpower, and proven strategies for maintaining a positive mindset even in the face of rejection and adversity. Ruth has walked the same path many newcomers do, and she's a true expert in turning challenges into opportunities. And she's here to share her wisdom with you. So if you're ready to learn, be inspired, and transform your newcomer journey, this episode is for you.
Welcome to the Newcomers on Fire Show with your host, Miguel Abascal. Listen to people like you sharing their journeys, struggles, and their breakthroughs. Be ready to be inspired to take control of your time, career, finances, and future. Fulfill your potential. Become the person you're meant to be and make your dreams a reality.
So welcome back. Today I'm with an amazing guest. Her name is Ruth. And even though we met recently, it's one of those feelings that you met a friend for a long time. That's what happened with Ruth. In fact, Ruth, remember we had our first coffee meeting and we said like, oh boy, I wish we have recorded that meeting. That was great. So,
Yes.
so Ruth, how are you? How's everything?
Thank you very much, Miguel, and thank you for having me here. I'm doing great, and I'm really excited to, talk to you again. You mentioned that we met before, and how we wish we would have recorded, and how we could relate to each other's story, and how immigration was a huge change for us, and how we overcame it. So I'm really excited to be here.
Oh, amazing. Tell us more about who is Ruth? How long have you been in Canada? Where do you come from? How you immigrate to Canada? Like a little bit about that story. That will be very helpful to understand.
Yes. I come from Dominican Republic, so I speak Spanish, and we moved back in March 2016 because my husband got a job in Canada. His boss wanted him to move, so the entire family moved here in Toronto. So both of us are, having new experiences in Toronto, and moving here with our 3 kids as well was a huge change. But again, grateful for having a job. Of course, my husband had a job, and also grateful for my kids to see snow for the first time. So a lot of changes, but that was how I started to my immigration story, by moving because of my husband's job, and starting a new life here.
Wow, that's incredible. And how did you adapt? Because that's actually a very common pathway for a lot of people. Moving with the significant other, with the family, and I know that starting a new life, starting new schools, starting everything, it might be challenging. So if you can explain a little bit more about those early months, early years, just what happened to you.
Yes. At the beginning, it was all beautiful. Just imagine someone coming from an eternal summer. There
Yes.
we have one time of the year, like summer all year long, and coming to a new country and finding snow. And I felt like the universe was for me that day, because the
Yeah.
exact next day I moved to Canada, it snowed like crazy. I remember it was a March 5th, 2016. It was snowing a lot. I even heard some locals talking about, hey, it's been a while without snowing like this. So we were excited. We enjoyed the snow. We lay down and we ate snow. We made sure we didn't eat yellow snow. So it was exciting. So with the excitement, within a few months, so someone actually said that, be careful with yellow snow. With the excitement, um, I became, for me as a mom with three kids under the age of 7, I was busy, as you can imagine, finding school for my kids, finding housing. My husband had to go to work. So, again, as an immigrant, you have to live wherever you can first.
Right.
We eventually found a house, and that's for another story. But again, finding a public school for my kids, and then finding out what to do with the two of them that couldn't start school right away because of their age. So that's how it started. My first encounter with someone who spoke my language was at the library. We went to the local public library. In that exact day, I found someone that is a community worker, and the person was speaking Spanish. I said, "Oh, at last I found someone who speaks my language," and I felt relieved. And I started talking to that person. What can I do? How can I access resources? I need to speak English. And the person started giving me references. The first thing she said, "Oh, do you know what YMCA is? Please go get your language assessed so you can find an English school." So that's how I started transitioning little by little. But I was so lucky to find that local public library and that person who said, "Ruth, here are some resources that you can access to start your life here in Canada."
Oh wow! You know what I love about your story is that you're also right. I also come from a place that is super hot, and as you mentioned, eternal summer. And a lot of people will ask me, it's like, why did you came to Canada? You're coming from a beautiful place in front of the ocean, coconut, palm trees, a basin, right? But of course, like I know,
Yeah.
Canada for us has been amazing as well, and super happy. Quick question for you: Did everything went according to plan?
Ooh, definitely not. And I will give you one example. When I came to Canada, I came with the hope that I will find a lot of friends and I will go to an English school and my kids will go to school and I will enjoy everything. While this is partially true, the transition was not easy. So just picture this. I came with when I went to YMCA, my English level was 4 or 5. I consider myself an extrovert, so I love making friends. I love meeting new people. I could not do that. I felt shy. So it was the other way around. I became an introvert at that time because I didn't find my community. So I was struggling on that sense. And as a professional, back home I didn't complete my studies, and the first thing I heard is that, oh, if you didn't complete your studies, that it will be hard to validate your credentials and all that. So that was another punch in the face because I came with the hope, oh, I'm going to be able to continue my university here in Canada. That was not true.
Right.
I needed to go back and start all over again. So that was the first, I guess, bump in the road, I would say, that I found. And as a mom, and I didn't have any professional network. I didn't have anything. I didn't have a LinkedIn, if that tells you something.
I
So
can imagine.
that's
Yes.
how the so that's how big the bump was. And again, it was not all roses. Yes, I enjoyed the country at the start, but again, transitioning and adapting was quite a process for me and my family.
I 100% believe that because now I see you, and it's like for me, it's even hard to believe that that was Ruth some years ago, and now I see you as a super successful, helping newcomers, running amazing programs. So, what happened? If you can tell us a little bit about that transformation and the steps you took to overcome those challenges.
Yes. So number one, I started my research. I'm very good at that. I Googled everything, I translated everything, and as I went to English classes, I believe my English got better. And then when I went to get my English assessed, my English was then 6-7, enough to go to college. So I went to George Brown College, and I'm happy to say that I received everything I needed there because I took a program to start with, I didn't think much of it, but I wanted a program that would accept me as a mature student. That's the first one, and a program that would accept my English level, and a program that would provide me with resources, but also the skills I need to thrive in the country and to start a career. So I took the community worker program. Some of people know it as a social service program. There I learned about Canada, about how this country was founded, and everything about the story of the country. And I fell in love. And the beauty of the community worker program, it was also to support other immigrants. I had an opportunity to start working as a settlement worker and support newcomers. And as I received them, I started seeing the value of my studies. I started providing immigration support, immigration advice, and how to start your life in this country, how to find schools. So again, everything that I struggled with, I started to give this advice to other people. So I felt fulfilled, I would say. And as I advanced as a settlement worker and working in a Canadian organization, I wanted more. I really wanted more because as I received the clients, I started to see more needs, such as how can I find employment? How can I prepare? How can I bring my studies to Canada? And I was not equipped to help them. The only thing I knew is how to provide settlement support, resources, and uh, anything, just guidance on how to navigate. However, I couldn't help them with employment support. So I saw a lot of needs there, and that's when I decided to go back to college because I knew a little bit more. And I went back to college and took the post-secondary education in career development professional at George Brown.
Oh, wow. That's incredible. And then what happened? I'm so intrigued. I'm so curious. You took again the
Yeah.
program, and now you are in the process of like helping people. How did you land at your first job?
My first job, it didn't happen right away, of course. And one of the things I learned as a community worker is the importance of volunteering. So first, before transitioning from settlement and community service field, I needed to transition to the career development field. So I didn't understand much. And then someone said to me, Ruth, you need to volunteer. If you don't do that, you won't be able to access those knowledge and you won't be able to make an informed decision. So I signed up for a volunteering position at an organization that it's well known for serving people to finding employment, the Career Foundation. So I went there and I volunteered, I supported people, I shadowed, and I was very proactive. And I believe my personality helped because I was open to talking and networking as well. And remember, at that time, I didn't have much professional contact or professional network. So when I started volunteering, they said, Ruth, I feel like this job could suit you well. So if you want, you should go back to college and take this program.
Oh.
So after volunteering, and it was right before the pandemic hit, 2020, I remember that I applied for the program at George Brown College, and I started volunteering, I started studying, and after that, I took internship. So another big part of my career was internship, and I took internship very seriously. I didn't see it as a step back. I saw it as an opportunity to leverage my skills and to see the future of it, because the more skills and strength I got, I believe the better and more equipped I became to serve others in the field. So after volunteering, two internships, then I applied for my dream job. And that's how it started. After finishing my internship and everything, I saw all these positions. And one of the things that I tried not to emphasize on, and I'm really upfront about it, is about my shyness when it came to speaking a lot or expressing myself in English. So I practiced my interview skills. I applied for several positions, by the way. And when I applied for some of them, again, rejections came, and with every rejection, and I took note. What did I learn from this interview? Where did I fail? What did I do wrong? And I was bold about this. I reached out to my interviewers and I said, hey, I'm new looking for a job in the field. I would love to hear your feedback. I would love to hear what I could have done better.
Right.
Not a surprise, I didn't receive a lot of response, but I did receive two responses from someone that I will never forget. The person sent me an email. Hey, we actually found a better candidate. Whatever the email said, we found a candidate. We decided to go with someone else. But if you want to hear my feedback, here is what you can improve. Amazing. I took that feedback and I embraced it so much and I applied it for my next interview. My next interview was another rejection. No reason, but again, they moved on with another candidate. So I applied for at least, my goodness, 7, 8, 10 jobs. And every time rejection came, at some point, I became a little bit sad because
Mhm.
it's despeраting and I needed a job. However, I was embracing the experience of applying for jobs and the experience of receiving the feedback. I reach out to a friend, and that's something I also recommend anyone. When you are in the process of finding a job, and rejection can get you, okay, can get you because it's um, it's like telling you, hey, you're not qualified, you're not equipped, and can really hurt your self-esteem somehow. But I'm grateful that I found some friends that I could reach out to. So I have a colleague. I reached out to her and I said, hey, I'm not feeling well. This is hard. This is very hard. And my friend was so open and she said, Ruth, let's practice together.
Yeah.
And that was amazing. So that's how I became, more confident. I practiced with a friend. I took care of my mental health. Again, reaching out to a friend is also taking care of your mental health. And I eventually found the job. When I applied for the job, I will never forget, it was a December. I reached out and I was very proactive. And I followed up after a week of applying for the job. And eventually I got that beautiful news. Ruth, congratulations.
Very
We
nice.
decided to move forward with your application.
Amazing. Oh, I love that story. Three things I want to talk to you about. The first one, volunteering, because I come from a country where volunteering is it's a thing, but not that big of a thing. I don't know if in Dominican Republic it's the same, where it's like you volunteer sometimes with a food bank or something, but in Canada, oh boy, it's completely different. And if you can explain more about that, how volunteering is actually a deal breaker, or sometimes like it's something that it's expected in a way, or that is like people ask you in your resume, like, okay, what is your volunteering experience? If you can talk more about that. The second one is communication. I see how your communication journey has evolved, and if you can tell more about that. And lastly, we can go over your confidence journey, because you're so right. With so many rejections, it's impossible not to feel that there is something broken about it, about us, or about me. It's like that maybe there is something wrong with me, or maybe I'm not that great. And then it's like, okay, and you even mentioned it, like community and having a friend, a mentor. That's incredible. But so many more questions, but this is just like three that they came right away. But yeah, like tell us more about volunteering in Dominican Republic. Is that a thing?
Yeah. So I will start with volunteering. In Dominican Republic, it's not a thing. Yes, you can volunteer, but that's not something you add to your resume if you want a professional
Right.
position or a professional career. So everything has to be paid position. It's very formal. To my surprise, when I came to Canada, Canadian put a lot of emphasis on volunteering position.
Right.
It's like all the experience and strength and skills you gaining. It doesn't matter if it's paid or unpaid. So volunteering here, when I found out about it, I put a little bit more emphasis. And let me tell you how I started. And that's when I was in the community worker program. I started volunteering at my kids' school.
Oh, nice.
Uh, and that's how I started expanding my network. So this is all I knew. My local library, my kids' school. That was all I knew. And I said, okay, if they value volunteering so much, I need to start somewhere. Having in mind that back home I was a teacher, I used to teach elementary school, that made sense to me to start from somewhere I knew, somewhere I was familiar with. So I talked to the principal and I asked her, hey, can I do my internship here and volunteering supporting students? And to my surprise, she went through all the process. I filled out all the forms, background check, everything. She said, yes, you are welcome to volunteering here because I also know you want to be closer to your kids. That was an amazing win. And all these skills I was able to add it to my resume, local experience to my resume, that I assisted kids with their drama, I assisted kids with their homework. So all these skills added to my resume. So again, I was very surprised, but again, volunteering in Canada is so valuable. And as an immigrant, I think that's the best next step when we come to Canada. Volunteering and putting our strength to work, because as you give, you
You
receive an
get.
amazing lesson, and also you get the experience to move forward with your career.
So true, and this is interesting because I've been coaching and helping newcomers for so many years, and the first thing that I say is like, hey, have you considered volunteering? It's like work for free? No, thank you. It's like I need to find a job
Yeah,
first, and it's like yes, I know, but if
yeah,
you volunteer, you that's a faster way also to find that job. So that's amazing. Um,
yes, yes. And it's like some of them say, some immigrants think it's like a step down.
right,
Volunteering, it is not a step down, it's a stepping stone. So again, I will
yes,
repeat that. Volunteering is not a step down, it's a stepping stone to bump your career, because while you volunteer, you're gaining this amazing experience. You're giving your time, but you're also gaining this strength and experience working in a local organization, and you can use that to leverage your career and for your next step. And even better, at the end of your interview, if you qualify for the job, you will be asked to provide local references.
right.
Guess what? Volunteering will provide you with that local references you need. So again, it's a win-win.
And another thing also to mention is that just because it's a non-paid activity that you are doing, you should also treat it with so much respect and professionalism, and you need to show up on time and work really hard, because that might be the stepping stone, as you mentioned, to go to the next level. I remember a story where the CEO of that non-for-profit made a referral for the person to get a job, and it was because that person did a fantastic job. So when you do a fantastic job, think great things happen. So volunteering, thank you so much for sharing that. Now let's talk about communication. Your communication skills are like amazing, superb. Like I'm in awe, and I know why. That's why I'm asking this a little bit, because I want you to share more about that journey. And yes,
Yes,
please tell us more.
yes. Communication. As I mentioned, when I came to Canada, English level based on the CLB assessment, all the domain 4.5. I mean, not impressive at all, especially if you want to have an open communication and professional communication. So after taking classes and make my English a little bit better, I decided to take more communication classes. So I have someone who recommended me Toastmasters. What is Toastmasters? My first impression is like, I don't understand what that word means.
Yeah.
With my English level, I can Toastmasters, but when I went there as a guest for the first time, I understood. It was such a safe place. I remember when I got there, the first thing is, Ruth, introduce yourself. No one have ever asked me to introduce myself before. When they asked, Ruth, please let us know about yourself, how you found about the club, and what made you join us tonight. I was forced to stand up and speak, which was my biggest fear, especially speaking in English. So when I went there, I found that safe space, and I asked a little bit more how I could become a member. After I became a member, it was the best decision in my life. It was a game changer because I received mentorship. I had a mentor there who guided me in terms of grammar, in terms of writing my speeches, the structure of my speeches, and how to also participate in impromptu speeches. We call them table topics. So that pushes you out of your comfort zone to stand up and speak. And I truly believe that really helped me for my interview skills, because there you receive questions, you prepare, you talk in front of people, and you lose that shyness of speaking to strangers, right?
Right.
So that's how I improve my communication skills. So again, I've been a Toastmaster for the last 6 years. I have participated in speech contests, and I have won. So again, it's been a journey. I started from being very shy, not being able to speak, to participating in a speech competition. I went from the club level and then the area level competition and then the division level competition. And I said, I'm winning. I'm
Yeah.
winning. And and I put on the work, I put on the effort, and now I am getting the result that I really needed. So that's where my communication skills improved immensely, because I don't think I could have done it with just a an English school. Again, I received the skills I needed, but again, the confidence of expressing my thoughts freely and confidently came from joining Toastmasters Club.
Oh wow! You tell your story, and I get again goosebumps and like electricity running my body because I feel so identified as well. Because CLB, the Canadian Language Benchmark, 4 or 5 is almost a little bit over basic, and now from that
Mm-hmm.
start to go and winning competitions where you're competing against native speakers, when you're competing against people that have done this for years. And I know this because I also joined Toastmasters. I love it. I 100% recommend it. It's one of the best things that is going to help you a lot. And another thing
Yeah.
that I also wanted to share with you is that you're so right, because I remember a mentor telling me, it's like, Miguel, in Spanish, you are this charismatic guy, super joyful, your face, your eyes lights up. But with the moment that you switch to English, it's like, boom, completely a gray person, like everything is gone. And he was asking me, why? And I was like, well, it's because I do not feel confident. I do not feel I'm doing the right job. My accent is too thick. I don't know if I'm making a mistake. I usually mix the verbs and, oh, you name it. No?
Yeah.
But to your point, like
Mhm.
thanks to practice, I became a little bit better at communicating and sharing and not being afraid of like, hey, am I going to make a mistake or I'm going to say something wrong? It's like, well, if I say it, like, it's fine. Today I know executives
Yeah.
that they speak English in a way that sometimes they also make mistakes and they are not even afraid of them. So it's like, oh wow, if they are not afraid of making a mistake, why should I be afraid of making a mistake? And they are executives, so it's like, oh, I'm 100% on the right path. So again, I
I
applaud
agree.
I applaud your journey, Ruth. It's incredible. It's incredible. I'm so happy.
And And I would say from a Toastmaster to Toastmaster, we understand the value of it. And
Yes.
if we could give any advice, is that improve your communication skills. It's a game changer where once you know how to express your thoughts confidently without any shyness. So, yes, I
I
completely
agree,
agree.
because you can be the best candidate, but if that best candidate cannot communicate their value proposition or why they are the best candidate, then they're going to choose somebody that is might not be the best candidate just because you were not able to communicate that. So yeah, 100% is about confidence, about communicating your value. So quick question, quick question for you. What do you wish you knew before you come into Canada?
Wow. Okay, I need to keep it short, right? So I will go right to it. First of all, improve your communication skills. That's the first one. Without it, you won't be able to do the next one that I wished I knew. Networking is very important. Uh, Expanding your circle here in Canada, it doesn't have to be hard. You can start with what you know. So, what do you know? It's people from your library or from your kids' school. Start communicating with them to start growing your professional career. So, number one, communication. Number two, expand your professional network. Number three, my goodness, and I thank goodness I found out, but volunteering is a huge one. So if you don't know how to start your career, find a way to put your strength to work, to give before starting receiving all the benefits of living in this beautiful country, which is Canada. So again, communication, networking, volunteering is great. And another one is a huge one, personally, is like make peace with your accent. Make peace with it, because if you don't make peace with it, you will be that shy person that won't be able to express your thoughts. So understand that your accent tells a story of survival, a story of bravery, of taking your family and move to a new country. So your accent is yours. So I would say own your accent before coming to Canada. And yes, of course, improve your communication skills. But as you can see, Miguel and we speak English, but we both have a different accent, right? So I feel like once we make peace with this, it's much better to for us to express our thoughts in our second language. So these are my four recommendations. Number one, improve your communication skills in English. That's the country you're going to live in, so you can't help it. The number two is that expand your network. Start uh, making contact and networking with people you already know and go from there, because you don't have to reach out to someone you don't know, like people you don't know. No, start with your small circle and go from there. And the second one is just don't stay at home, volunteer. There are many places you can start volunteering. It doesn't matter your background. Are you coming from banking? Are you coming from marketing? Are you coming from teaching background? Whatever your background is, there is a place for you here in Canada where you can volunteer. And there is a website where you can find volunteering positions. So just Google it there. And number four, make peace with your accent.
I
That
love it.
will help you express thoughts freely and be able to communicate your values.
That's incredible. Oh wow. Quick question about once how life changed for you once you found your dream job. Did anything change for you, or was everything just the same?
Yeah, something changed. Definitely something changed, especially when you have been in a journey of finding your place. Coming to Canada means changing basically everything. It doesn't matter your career, your background, even when you want to continue in your same career in Canada. Something changed, and you need to be open and adapt to these changes. So when I came with a speaking with a teacher background, yes, I wanted to continue. However, it wasn't going to be that easy. Besides, I needed to adapt to my new language, my new environment, my new everything, culture. So, finding my path to be able to support others came from my story. So, when I look back and I see my story as someone who tried to immerse herself into the new Canadian culture, into the new Canadian professional world, I wished I knew what I know today. So today, my mission is to support newcomers to achieve their career goals by providing them resources and everything they need and the skill they need to start finding jobs successfully in Canada. So definitely, yes, Miguel, to answer your question, something changed, and it was the ability to adapt to the changes. I've always loved to helping people. However, through that journey, I had to find my path and new people, change my mind a little bit, and then finally say, my goodness, I made it.
Yeah.
I'm loving what I'm doing, and I'm sharing a little bit of my story so people who hear it can learn a little bit about it and maybe reduce a little bit of the bump on the road. Yes, bumps will come, but when you know the information and you have the resources and access to it, it makes it a little bit easier and better.
I love that. You're so right, because also for me, I remember when I landed my first professional job, I was like, oh wow, I'm finally made it. Of course, years and years later, but I finally am starting. I felt like I'm starting, and a huge weight on my shoulder was like, okay, you know, lift up, or like the rainy cloud that was following me was like gone. Now it was like sunny and sunshine. So yeah, definitely changed. And that's when I started volunteering like crazy. I became, to your point, addicted to volunteering. I was like hours and hours and hours just because I wanted to help, I wanted to share. And yeah, like
Yeah.
that was the beginning of all of this, by the way. It's incredible.
And may I ask you, how many years did it take you to find your dream career?
A lot, a little bit over 5, almost 6 years just to get there. And I did a lot of survival jobs, from working at Tim Hortons, which is a coffee shop, to restaurants, to cleaning, maintenance, construction. I never had a hammer on my hand. because I always did professional jobs like accounting and marketing and finances. So I learned all of that too. But again, it's part of the journey. And today, I'm so happy. It's like I can see like black and day, night and day. Like the transformation is like, okay, now those
Yes.
jobs were amazing, but now I'm loving what I'm doing because I'm in my swim lane. I'm where I'm supposed to be, and that is
Yes.
why we're here.
Yes, and this is what people need to hear, I would say, because again, your story have so many layers to it, and sometimes I can just see, oh, Miguel, the amazing person who works at a bank, as this position. But what is the story behind it? What did you do to adapt? Oh, Ruth is an employment counselor today. But what did she have to go through to adapt? And again, if you hear it, it's beautiful embracing those stories, but also knowing what that person did to get where they are at the moment.
And you know what? One of the biggest components on our journeys is, to your point, mental health. So one of the questions I have is like, how did you stay positive and strong and happy, or when you receive those rejections, when suddenly you notice that your career that you were thinking you need to change it, when like all of these, to your point, punch on the, as you mentioned, punch in the face. It's like, okay, that was the first one, the next challenge, and the next, and it's like years of challenges. And on top of that, I can just imagine, like, families, everything that goes with raising a new family in a new country. So that
Yeah.
mental health component, that confidence, how did you just keep it afloat, or what was your strategy there?
That's a very good question, and I might not have a set strategy, but I have a great self awareness. And coming from a country where mental health is not a huge thing we talk about,
Yeah.
coming to Canada, I was forced to look into it because if I didn't take care of my mental health, I would confidently say I wouldn't be where I am today because rejection get to me. The ability of not communicating clearly, having an accent, not having a professional career, having to change everything. I would say that would have pushed me down. So some of the things I did, and it worked for me. Well, I'm here today. Some of the things I did is keeping a positive mindset, knowing that my today is not my forever, and that is something I learned when I started my career a little bit early. I was telling a an employment counselor how I was feeling. I said, I see I don't have any hope. I don't have any career. I have 3 kids. I don't see anywhere to go. And the person said to me, and I will never forget about this. He said, Ruth, I'm hearing what you're saying, and it's completely normal to feel the way you feel, but I would like you to make a little change of your vocabulary. I would like you to add the word yet at the end of what you say. I'm not there yet. I'm not a professional yet. I'm not successful yet, but I'm getting there. I'm on my way. So that gave me that boost of
Yeah.
that is true. If I look back where I've been and where I am today, a little bit of change of how we see things can change our mental state to continue to keep going. And the other thing I did, it's again, my personality played a role is reaching out to others. I started, with someone who spoke Spanish, and from there I started networking, and from there I got friends. Again, my kids got friends and reach out to moms and all that, and speaking to them also open a world for me I didn't know. Yes, speaking with others, talking to others about how you feel can help a lot. And as an immigrant, I did feel isolated, but I didn't have to stay in isolation. So, to anyone listening to this, you are not alone. Even though we think, oh no, I'm not alone, I'm alone in this. I don't have anywhere to go. You are not alone. There are so many resources you can access. If you have friends that speak your language, start from there. If you have a community center, a local library, start going there to meet others as well. And again, positive mindset, changing your vocabulary because you bring so much strength. My goodness, Miguel, I know you and I could go over the things we bring with us all over and over again. We bring so much strength, and when finding yourself a little bit lost, this is not your forever. That's what I wanted to say. That's how
Wow.
I kept a positive mindset.
Yeah, I'm blown away again. It's like my today is not my forever. That's a huge one. The other one is like just add yet to the end of whatever objections or negative thought that you have, and then that starts shifting because it's like, yeah, you're right. Like I'm in a process. Another thing that I will add to the mix is that do not compare yourself with others because there is no
Yes.
need. It's impossible to compare yourself with others because it's different stories, different backgrounds, different everything. So just compare yourself with yourself, and if you compare yourself today from the Miguel of 1 year ago, the change is huge. I remember a mentor telling me, it's like, if you are not embarrassed today with the person that you were a year ago, you are not growing enough. So it's like, oh wow, it's like, yeah. Sometimes I'm embarrassed with the person I was a year or 5 or 10 years ago, and it's like, yeah. So I think I'm growing. So definitely, I love how much you have shared with us. Very quickly, if imagine this, Ruth, if you have a billboard that any or every newcomer can access and see, what will that billboard say? What will be your message to them?
Hmm. Let me take that in because I want to say the right thing and I want to keep it short. Reach out. You are not alone.
I love that.
So that's the whole thing. Reach out. You are not alone. There are so many community around willing to support someone like yourself in on LinkedIn. Reach out. You are not alone. And how would you be reaching out? And how would I say in that billboard that you're not alone? I would put LinkedIn in big down there. Reach out if you're a professional. Reach out, you're not alone. And a big LinkedIn logo down there. Because I feel like if you want to grow professionally, you need an online presence.
Yes.
Reach out, you're not alone. Make sure you have a professional presence here in Canada. This is a huge one because when you apply for a job, your employer will Google you. We'll find out who's Miguel, who's Ruth, so make sure you reach out to professionals, you connect with them. And remember, you're not alone in this. Today might seem a little bit blur and a little bit dark for you wherever you are, but you are not alone. You just need to start reaching out to those like minded professionals that are able to help you.
I love that. Oh wow! You know what? I have a friend in LinkedIn, so I'm going to tell him like, I think you should put this in your marketing material because it's amazing. Reach out, you are not alone, and then big LinkedIn, and it's like, yes, that's exactly the message the newcomers should see. That's incredible. Any last words of wisdom? Anything that we forgot to mention? Anything that you want to add?
Uh, uh, well, I would say again, we covered so much, and I would say that um, as immigrant we will struggle. That's a fact. We will struggle along the way, but if we prepare ourselves ahead of time for this struggle, the bump will be uh, a little bit manageable, I would say. So as immigrant, I would say reach out to other professionals here in Toronto, network with your community, find information and resources. The beauty of Canada, again, we come from beautiful country, but the beauty of Canada is that there are so many resources available for you. Most of them are for free, and you just have to go grab them as soon as you come here to Canada. Don't sleep on it. I know you came here maybe with family, or maybe you came alone and you want to make friends, whatever it is. But access to those resources and make use of them as soon as possible, and you will see the difference in a shorter period of time. So maybe if Miguel knew what he knew today, it would have not taken you 5 years.
Exactly.
Maybe if I knew what I knew today, it would have not taken me 6 years. So start using those resources, and the time might be lessened for you. So that's my
Yeah,
final
I
word.
love that. And you know what? The reason we're doing this podcast is exactly because of that. Is this the podcast I wish I had, or I wish I have access back in the day when I was like, oh, you know what? Like the story of Ruth is something that talks to me, or like, oh, this is the way, or like I will not struggle or battle the concept of volunteering, that it's a waste. It's actually an investment. About mentoring, it's like, oh, people trying to help me, that's something weird about it. It's like, no, trust it. It's fine. I know we come sometimes from countries where the stranger is trying to help you is like, oh, that's a red flag. It's like, yeah, but actually here is amazing. So yeah, all of these stories, my intention is that, yeah, people listening to them, getting inspired, and then it's like, okay, today I'm going to do that little action, like send a message, send an email, reach out to people. So that's the vision. So Ruth, you are doing amazing things, and you have amazing programs. Would you like to share a little bit more about that, and where can people find you?
Yes, of course. My name is Ruth Javier. I work at the Mennonite New Life Center. I work with a very specific program. It's called BEMC. It's Bridge to Employment in Media and Communications. And the reasons why I love this, it's exactly to help immigrants bridge their career to Canada. So we take into account your experience from outside of Canada, your professional experiences and your studies, and we provide you with what you need to adapt to the new culture and the new place that you will be developing your career. So the BEMC program is for journalists, marketing, PR professionals from outside of Canada. We have other programs, so feel free to check them out. Feel free to go to the Mennonite New Life Center and check all the amazing bridging programs. By the way, we have 4 bridging programs, so please go there and see what's the best fit for you as a professional in Canada to bridge your career. Because sometimes you don't have to start from zero, because you bring so much. And that's why I'm so passionate about these programs, because one of the requirements, most of the requirement is that you need to have all your experiences from outside of Canada to be able to enroll in these bridging programs. So that's where you can find where I work. And if you want to reach out to me, just feel free to reach out to me. Reach out. You're not alone. If I don't know the answer, I will refer you to someone. If I don't know it, I will, hey, Miguel, can you provide some information or whatever from my network? So my name is Ruth Javier Friesen. You will find it on LinkedIn as well. So feel free to reach out to me as well.
Oh, wow. Ruth, as always, it's like, I know this is potentially our second meeting, but it feels like we have met in another lifetime or something. It's incredible. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom. Thank you for being amazing as always. And yeah, I'm again blown away. We have so much content that is great for people exactly that are trying to find their way or make their way into their new careers, into their new home. And your story was just exactly what we needed. So thank you so much, Ruth. And yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it was great meeting with you again and share my experiences. And I look forward to reading more about all your wonderful posts. And thank you for having me.
Awesome. To your success. See you soon.
See you soon.
Hey there, thank you so much for listening or watching another episode of Newcomers on Fire. We truly appreciate it. If you love this episode, please help us by sharing on social media. Your support can make a big difference in growing this platform. When you share with your friends and family, you are helping new people find their way and make their dreams a reality. The more you share, the more lives we can impact. So let's work together to inspire others who might not even know about us yet. In our next episode, we're diving deep into a crucial skill every newcomer needs to master: how to nail coffee meetings, also known as information interviews. Join me as I sit down with a seasoned coach who has guided hundreds of individuals on their career journeys. We will explore the ins and outs of why these coffee meetings or curiosity conversations are vital, how to prepare for them, and uncover best practices for success. To be honest, I initially thought this conversation was going to be just about 10 minutes, but the conversation was so good and insightful that it took almost 40. You don't want to miss this one. Remember, this podcast is just the starting point. The real magic happens in our Newcomers on Fire community. If you are doing great, awesome. Pay it forward and help someone else live a better life. And if you're still finding your way, know that you are not alone. Come and join us for a chat and let's navigate this journey together. Stay inspired, stay motivated, and keep moving forward. Until next time, to your success.
We hope you enjoyed this show and that it helps you to find your way or make your way. If you found value, share it with someone who needs it. Until next time, to your success.